Hello everybody, this is General Yanis, and today in Death Card Tactics, one of my favorite topics, the Plague Marines and their weapons, and looking at it especially from the standpoint now of the Armour of Contempt update. So how does the Plasma and the Bolter and the Blightlauncher stack against each other now if we are facing enemies with Armour of Contempt? So with no further ado, let's look at these shooty Plague Marines. So today is the 21st of April, and as I said, today we're looking at the Plague Marines and the shooting weapons in line of the Armour of Contempt rules. So we have the Bolter, a nice looking model, this easy to build Bolter guy, the Blightlauncher, and then the Plasmagun. If you know this model from the first strike box, for example, or the easy to build Marines, he has the Plasmagun in his back. One of the coolest models, I think, with the Power Fist and the Plague Knife and the Plasmagun. So let's get started with the looking at the weapons. So the main shooting weapon options for the Plague Marines, I've taken the most interesting here. I didn't look at the Plague Belcher, and the Melta gun is specifically anti-vehicle, but looking here, the standard gun for the Plague Marines is the lowly bolt gun, let's say 24-inch rapid fire 1, strength 4, AP 0, damage 1. The Blightlauncher, one of my personal favorite weapons for the Plague Marines, it costs 10 points more. It's an assault 2, strength 6, AP -2, damage 2, and it's a plague weapon. So a nice stats line for the Blightlauncher, but now facing Armour of Contempt, the AP would be reduced if you're shooting against a Marine or something like that. We have also the option for Plasmagun with a standard and the supercharging mode. If you can supercharge, it has a nice profile, and the AP is better than the Blightlauncher, where it's also especially important with the Armour of Contempt. But you can only rapid fire the Plasmagun at 12 inches, getting 2 shots. And then I'm also looking quickly at the Plague Spewer, short range flamer, heavy D6 shots, strength 5, AP only -1 and damage 1, auto hit plague weapon, but the AP -1 against Armour of Contempt would be becoming AP 0. So keeping in mind that these special guns cost the same, let's say more, so a Plague Marine with these extra weapon options is 31 points, and the Bolter Standard Marine is 21 points. And you could take a Blightlauncher, you could take also a Plasmagun in a group of 5, and you can also have the champion has a Plasmagun, so you could potentially in a small squad have 1 Blightlauncher and 2 Plasmaguns if you wanted to spend the extra point cost. The inexorable advance and the malicious volleys always makes our Bolter rapid fire at the 24-inch range, so the Bolter always has 2 shots. The Blightlauncher, it has also 2 shots as an assault weapon, and even if we are advancing the squad, sometimes you need to do that with a slow death card to come to an objective. You could still potentially shoot with at least the Blightlauncher at -1 to hit. The Plasma only has 1 shot at 24-inch, and then you need to go to 12-inch and shorter to get 2 shots. And the Spewer, as I said, short range, but the AP -1 is suffering the most versus the change if we are facing Armour of Contempt enemies. So here we have the shooting weapons from the previous slide at 12-inch range versus the General Yanis targets, and I've taken the opportunity now with Armour of Contempt to update a little bit some of the targets. For example, the Orc Boys, I had them before as toughness 4, now they are toughness 5. I have removed the Custodes that had a 3+ invul save. Now it's only Gilliman effectively with a 3+ invul save. I've added the Dread Knight and the Nemesis Dread Knight as a special feared enemy, and then the guys with the red box are the targets with Armour of Contempt. So we have a lot of the Marines here with no invul saves. We have the Death Card units over here, and we have the Thousand Suns units over here, and here the targets they have here the targets have 3+ invul or 4+ invul and increasing toughness, and then we have 5+ invul, and then we have the targets with no invul saves but with different armor saves. So here at 12-inch range we see The best option against the standard Marines at short range is a supercharged Plasmagun. It's better than the Blightlauncher, but if you don't supercharge it, the gray line, then you don't. Then the Blightlauncher is overall better. If we see the enemies without Armour of Contempt, then the Blightlauncher is equal to the Plasmagun supercharged, and you don't have with a supercharged Plasmagun, you have the risk of killing your own guys. With a Blightlauncher, you don't. So normally the Blightlauncher was better, but now we can see that for the if we can double fire, rapid fire the Plasmagun, and we can supercharge it, it is the better option against the Armour of Contempt Marines here with no saves, with no invul saves. Also for Death Guard, because of the discussing resilience, if you play the mirror match, the Blightlauncher is not super good, then the Plasmagun in this case is better. The light blue is the Plague Spewer. The Plague Spewer is quite good against something that has very good invul saves, let's say, because then you just have volume of attacks, and against the targets with not very good saves. So horde type enemies like orc boys or something like that, then the Plague Spear is good, but only a 12-inch range, let's say. And then for the Armour of Contempt targets here, not super good, not as good as the Blightlauncher or the supercharged Plasmagun. And then at the bottom we have the standard bolter. It's only AP 0, so a lot of these opponents will be having good saves and only strength 4, damage 1. It's not, let's say, the best weapon. And this is the damage point corrected. So here we have the correction that all these they cost 31 points, and the bolter only costs 21 points. If we look at the 24-inch range, then at the maximum range of the Plague Marines, let's say, again point corrected per 100 points. The damage is quite clear that the Blightlauncher at long range is the best option, because here the Plasmagun only fires one shot. So at this longest range, actually you can even see that the bolter is even better than a non-supercharged Plasmagun for a lot of the targets here, the gray line and the blue line. So the bolters the Plasmagun is not good at range. Previously with our inexorable advance with 18 inches for all our weapons, that then the Plasmagun had a better utility. But so basically long range, Blightlauncher if you want to do damage, of course, bolter as the cheapest option. And then a lot of people, when I show these graphs, they say, what about the virulent rounds, and the bolter becomes plague weapon? Then I have let's say the Sigil of Decay that makes for 10 points for the squad. Then the 6 is auto wound, and then we can have the Tollkeeper relic and Arch Contaminator and rerolling ones and whatever you have. So if we stack all these buffs on a unit of a bolter Plague Marine, then we can see the blue line. The damage is equal to a non-buffed Blightlauncher for most of the targets here. For Death Guard or something like this, then it's better. But if we would apply some of these buffs to the Blightlauncher, then you can get the gray line. So if you just have Arch Contaminator, you don't need the virulence rounds, etc. The Blightlauncher just gives you, it takes quite a lot of buffs for a bolter to come up to the Blightlauncher level. Looking a little bit also on the Plague Marine durability with the Armour of Contempt, here we have a range of different weapons, shooting or attacking the Plague Marines. The old Plague Marines that didn't have the Armour of Contempt, here you can see that, for example, they would take, let's say, 14 shots from an Inferno Bolter to be killed on average. Here I'm not assuming any rerolls or anything like that, any buffs from the shooting or the defending unit. And here we can see with the Armour of Contempt, in effectively reducing the AP by 1 for these attacks, we see that for most of the weapons we can take more shots. For example, 9 shots from the Gauss Reaper weapon to kill 1 Plague Marine before, now it can take 12. And even for this high and the high damage, let's say high AP, high strength weapons, if something like that would fire on your Plague Marines, even now with AP4, you would still have a 6+ save with the Armour of Contempt. You could take a Melta and and save it if Nurgle is smiling at you before you didn't have a save, and yeah, of course, a Melta for a Plague Marine, then it wasn't a good matchup, let's say. So all in all, a good improvement. And also, if we combine, if we keep our Plague Marines in light cover, then we are increasing the save. We are increasing our armor save, basically giving a 2+ armor save, and then reducing one of the AP. We can really increase the durability, and we get a really good durability versus a lot of the weapons, and we would be saving, let's say, a Meltagun even on a 5+. So that's almost as good as we were having an invul save previously. So if we can combine the light cover for the Plague Marines, then they become really durable. And especially, yeah, it could be fun to start using the miasmic malignifier. I know there is a lot of difficulty in placing that, but if you could place that, and if you can arrange with your opponent that you can place it somewhere in the middle, then you can bring your Plague Marines there in the middle to do actions or what they want to do, hold some objective, and then they have the cover. You don't need to be inside of ruins. If you are in a ruin, then they also become -1 to hit. So then you get this very good, let's say, durability for your Plague Marines, combining Armour of Contempt and light cover. So the summary and final thoughts. It seems like the Blightlauncher is still the overall best shooting option if you want to do some damage. And this is also true versus the Armour of Contempt targets. You get always 2 shots at all the range, up to 24 inches, even after advancing. I find myself many times advancing the Plague Marines at least round 1. If you have a Rhino, you can push them up. If you have something that has to walk, sometimes you need to advance. You could still shoot, maybe be lucky with a Blightlauncher. It's a plague weapon. It has a damage 2. That's good against Marines, 2 wounds Marines. If something gets through, even with the Armour of Contempt, they could kill, let's say, an Intercessor or something like that. Now, of course, the damage versus Armour of Contempt targets is a bit lower because now it's only AP1, and it's a 31-point Marine instead of a 21-point Bolter Marine. The Plasmagun can be lethal and better, let's say, at short range, but you need to be at short range at 12 inch to get 2 shots, and you need to supercharge it to make it use efficiently. And then to supercharge and not lose your plasma guys, you need to bring something to reroll once. That could be interesting, but at long range, if you plan to have your Plague Marines a bit back, then the plasma isn't a very good option, as we saw. The lowly bolter doesn't care about the Armour of Contempt. It's already AP0. You can buff it significantly with a lot of stacked things and +1 and Taliban Tollkeepers and something like that, but then it's quite a lot of investment for some of these bolter shots to be performed. So it could be interesting to start using, let's say, 5-man Plague Marine squads. Taking 1 Blightlauncher would be costing 115 points. You could have such a squad hold somewhere. Some of the maps, they have some objectives in the back or close to your deployment zone. They can walk there. They can shoot their weapons from afar. They can probably stay in cover, keep the objective, and the Blightlauncher adds you a little bit of damage. Could be interesting to start combining them with the miasmic malignifier to have more often a cover protection, and then basically that means that they are reducing the AP by 2 in effect, let's say. The 5-man Plague Marines, the cheapest one with only bolters and knives, that could be nice for objective secure and to make retrieve Nachmund data, but they are not so mobile as some of the other alternatives that can teleport or deep strike and do it in several quarters. But that's of course your cheapest option. You could bring stuff to buff your bolters, but again, not. Yeah, I think you have to plan a lot to just get some buffed bolter shots. The Blightlauncher, for 10 points, you are getting a little bit more damage for your money here. So this concludes the summary and the final thoughts for the Plague Marines here. Let me know what you think, and of the special, the weapons, the shooting weapons, and what you think about the durability of Armour of Contempt. I think the combo of Armour of Contempt and being in cover is a really strong combo and can make our Plague Marines are more durable. Of course, our Plague Marines are more exposed to mortal wounds. That's the real danger for them. And if something scary comes into melee with them, but at least they have a much better save from shooting damage and something like plasmas or something like that with a high AP, which previously was really strong, lethal against the Plague Marines. So let me know what you think in the comments. If you like this video, please press like and subscribe to the channel. Pressing like helps the algorithms to spread the videos. And if you want to support my efforts further, you can take a look at my Patreon page. And with these words, General Yanis is signing out. Stay safe out there, and bye-bye.